You probably believe that to get rich, you need to deeply understand economics, follow the stock market, or even be a genius investor. But what if I told you that the most important factor to build wealth has nothing to do with that? According to Morgan Housel, author of the bestseller The Psychology of Money, the real difference lies in how we think, feel, and react when it comes to money. It's not about how much you know, but how you behave. Most people lose the financial game because of emotional decisions, impulsiveness, or inherited patterns they don't even notice. This video is an invitation to rethink your relationship with money. And if you watch until the end, you'll walk away with a new mindset that can transform your financial life forever. Before we dive into the 11 lessons from the book, it's worth understanding why this work became one of the most recommended worldwide when it comes to personal finance. Morgan Housel isn't just a writer. He was a columnist for major outlets like the Wall Street Journal and the Motley Fool, and brings a completely different approach. Instead of talking about stocks, bonds, or real estate, he talks about emotions, human behavior, and the everyday decisions we make. This simple, realistic, and deeply human approach is what made millions of people see money from a new perspective. The book is a collection of stories and reflections that show financial success doesn't come from genius, but from consistency, patience, and, above all, self-control. The first lesson is almost a wake-up call. Financial decisions aren't made based on logic. Most of the choices we make with money come from emotions, past experiences, and even trauma. Someone who grew up during a crisis tends to be more conservative. Another who never experienced hardship might be overly risky. This means two people can make completely opposite decisions and still both be acting rationally according to their life stories. What Morgan shows us is that trying to apply a single financial formula to everyone is a mistake. Understanding your own background and how it influences your decisions is the first step to growing financially. Money is emotional before it's rational, and ignoring that is playing against yourself. The second lesson confronts us with an uncomfortable truth. Wealth is what you don't see. We live in a culture where showing off is almost an automatic reflection of success. Luxury cars, designer clothes, expensive trips, all associated with successful people. But in reality, these things are signs of consumption, not assets. True wealth is in the quiet choices, the savings no one sees, the investment done without fanfare, the decision to live below your means even when you could spend more. Housel argues that real wealth is built with what you don't spend, not what you show off. And the more you try to look rich, the less you actually are. This lesson invites internal realignment. Do you want to look rich or be rich? The third lesson is simple but powerful. Financial success is not about genius, but about survival. It's not about winning with a spectacular move, but about staying in the game long enough to reap the rewards of consistency. Morgan uses Warren Buffett as an example, who became a billionaire not just because he's a great investor, but because he started early and kept investing for over 80 years. He emphasizes that the ability to remain steady during crises, resist panic, and follow the plan is much more important than finding the perfect stock or making the best investment of the year. True wealth isn't created with big leaps, but with small steps taken for a long time. The question is, are you focused on surviving or impressing? The fourth lesson warns us of something few notice. Earning money and keeping money are different skills. Many people earn large sums, inheritances, bonuses, successful businesses, but lose everything due to lack of emotional preparation, impulsiveness, or poor decisions. Housel shows that to accumulate wealth, you need courage, boldness, and even a bit of arrogance. But to keep it, you need humility, discipline, and fear of losing it. This contrast is hard for most to balance. History is full of athletes, celebrities, and entrepreneurs who reached the top and fell in a few years. The real challenge isn't getting rich fast, but staying rich long enough to change your life. The fifth lesson debunks one of the biggest misconceptions in our perception: underestimating luck and risk. Morgan Housel reminds us that chance plays a huge role in financial journeys, for better or worse. He cites Bill Gates, who had access to a computer at a school in the early 70s, something extremely rare at the time. A peer just as smart tried to start a business and failed simply because he didn't have the same opportunities. The sixth lesson is one of the most impactful. Time is the most powerful ingredient in creating wealth. You've probably heard about compound interest, but maybe never truly understood its power. Morgan explains that the biggest fortunes weren't built due to spectacular returns, but due to time exposure. Someone who starts investing at 20 and remains consistent for decades will have far more impressive results than someone who invests triple the amount but starts late. Time turns discipline into fortune, and the problem is, almost no one wants to wait. If you understand this truth and act early, you're already miles ahead of most people. In the seventh lesson, the book states that true wealth is freedom. More than material possessions, what we all really want deep down is control over our own time. The freedom to say no to a toxic boss, to take a day off without guilt, or to move cities because you want to try something new. Money in this context is just a tool to buy time, and time is the only asset that doesn't come back. Morgan shows that when we spend all we earn to impress others, we're selling our time for fleeting approval. When we learn to save and invest, we're buying hours, days, even years of future freedom. And that's priceless. The eighth lesson is one of the most practical. Saving is more important than earning more. Many believe the problem is low income. Sure, sometimes that's true. But for a large part of the population, the real issue is spending habits. You can earn more and still be broke if your expenses rise at the same rate. Morgan shows that the ability to live below your means is the real financial superpower. People with simple habits, even on modest incomes, accumulate more than those who live paycheck to paycheck on high salaries. And the best part, saving is under your control, unlike salaries, bonuses, or promotions. Or, in the ninth lesson, Housel tackles one of modern life's root sufferings: constant comparison. We live in an era where social media shows edited lives, creating invisible pressure to always buy, travel, consume. The author reminds us that no one thinks about you as much as you think. Therefore, your financial decisions shouldn't be guided by others' approval. Comparing yourself is useless because everyone lives a different reality, different goals, incomes, fears, plans. The more you try to keep up with others, the more you move away from your own freedom. The secret is to develop an authentic internal relationship with money based on your values, not likes. The 10th lesson reinforces the idea that price and value are different things. Buying something expensive doesn't mean you're investing well, and buying something cheap isn't always a smart saving. Real value lies in utility, durability, and experience provided. A luxury car may cost hundreds of thousands, but can also bring stress, insecurity, and debt. A simple bike may offer health, mobility, and freedom. Housel teaches us to think before buying. Does this really improve my life, or am I paying for a fleeting feeling? The more you learn to identify what truly matters, the more your money works for you. The final lesson is about emotional consistency. Changing strategy on impulse is the most costly mistake. When markets fall, fear grows. When everything is rising, greed takes over. At these moments, the tendency is to make impulsive decisions. Sell in panic, buy in euphoria, change plans because this time it's different. But the book makes it clear that big results come from those who stay steady, even when the world seems to collapse. Having a plan is easy. Following it when everything feels wrong is the real challenge. Wealth, in this context, is more about behavior than talent, and the most powerful behavior is consistency. If you've made it this far, you probably realize the psychology of money isn't just a book about finance, it's a manual for self-knowledge. The final message is clear. Changing your behavior changes your financial life, and this is within anyone's reach. No matter how much you earn, your education, or where you were born, What matters is how you think, feel, and act around money. Start small with simple but consistent decisions. Save, invest, avoid comparisons, be patient, and above all, build a healthy relationship with money, one that leads you to freedom, not stress. If this video resonated with you, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This is just the beginning of your journey toward mastering your financial mindset. Here, you'll find a library of videos designed to help you rewire your relationship with money, attract wealth, and build lasting financial freedom. Keep exploring the channel for powerful lessons about how wealthy people think, how to unlock abundance, and how to create a life where money works for you, not the other way around. Your path to prosperity continues right here.